pulling us in. Here we go.
Because we have a big enough fan base that care about our lives now.
All right, here we go. Huddle. We're going to film this opening.
Okay.
And then we can finally chunk bend. And then we can get on with our lives.
Okay.
What's more important? Talking about jokes or getting on with our lives?
Getting on with our lives. I gotta do friggin' ginger roll stuff.
I don't know. Oh. All right, fine. Let's do this.
I was uncomfortable throughout all of that.
Welcome to another episode of KORRACAST. Tonight we're going to be talking about Kuvira's Gambit, the penultimate episode of The Legend of Korra.
There's two episodes left.
Well, yeah, but they're kind of the same. They're on the same night.
You don't know that. Have you seen them? Did you get to see them when we didn't?
It's the penultimate.
Penultimate.
The Penn and Teller Ultimate
episode of Korra.
Okay.
All right. What else we got going on?
As you may notice, Matt is not here. He's working on his new show called Disnology. Please stay tuned. It'll be a new Yum Chunks video series to watch. Original series.
Did you take whatever Mako had in this last episode?
Okay, so first, you guys, I kind of want to talk about the giant metal Gundam.
The big reveal in this episode.
Yeah.
Was this her Gambit?
I
think either her Gambit was moving up the timeline a week. Boy, oh boy, they did not see that coming.
They stuck to that schedule, and they were pissed when she did not.
Wars are on a very strict schedule, okay?
You can't arrive a week early.
Maybe it's going to be more divisive in the fan base, but I liked it. I thought it was cool. I don't know.
I like that it was made, like, when she first gets Zaofu, like, that one line she drops at the end of the episode is just like, start tearing down those Zaofu domes, like that. And
right.
Now we see why, like, it's to build a giant robot.
And I think also it's kind of cool the extension of her powers, right? I mean, we don't know exactly how it works. We know Batar, what's this? Batar built it, and she's operating, but obviously reminding me of Pacific Rim with the
it's very
Jaegers.
It's very Gypsy Dangerous. It had very Gypsy Dangerous. I like to think it's very
Gypsy Dangerous. Well, gypsies are dangerous. I don't like them. That's my one foot.
That is very racist.
The name
Giant robots, though. What does that have to do with anything?
I thought it was more Big O than even Gundam or maybe Eva, but you know.
I never maybe other than the fact that it had like long human the dangly arms that Evas have. Other than that, I agree. It was very Big O-ish.
Although I'm not sure what purpose those arms are going to serve.
Lifting a gun and then holding that.
But really, if you think about it, you might as well just mount it.
Why doesn't he just have two arm guns?
Why isn't it in the chest?
Or in the chest, or anything else? Unless in the show they're going to write it in such that this robot has to fight something else comparable to its own size.
Yeah, I mean that brings the obvious question. The most obvious thing is that Korra is going to become Giant Spirit Korra again. But I don't know.
We've already done that.
We've already done it, so it seems like really are they going to go do that again?
Not only that, but I feel like if she does, like she's an actual human, like her movements would be far superior than a robot being controlled from the inside. Like it wouldn't be much of a fight if that's what it comes down to.
Well, we'll see. Maybe the thing's more agile than we give it credit for. All of a sudden is March, but
it also that would be the case where the beam battle that we were talking about last week would potentially happen. Is they would have to both be equivalent, and she's
right.
But if that happens, I would hope it would escalate past that, right? That I would feel like, oh, we saw that 2 seasons ago.
Right. So my full theory then is that it's a 3-stage final boss. Okay, let me just say this. Okay, beam battle, Korra. Beam battle with the giant robot. She destroys the arm cannon. She moves into melee range, turns into giant spirit core, right? Fights it there. Boom. Then she has to fight Kuvira and Korra. I'm going like this because now they're figurines to me because I'm on the scale. I have to reduce them to little figurines. And they have to fight like this.
That's the natural progression.
Yes, of course.
And then they fight. And that would be the true proving ground because Kuvira beat her mano a mano before. Now Korra is going to do it.
But not really. Okay, I feel like if it comes down to a mano fight, like Korra got the upper hand as soon as she went to Avatar State last time. So maybe she would have to restrain herself to prove she doesn't need it. I guess. If she goes to Avatar State, I feel like it would be a one-sided battle again, like it was when she first transformed in the other fight.
I still think Kuvira was holding herself back though in that fight.
But seriously, what's the most any one person can do against the Avatar?
I don't know. Fight? I mean, Kuvira was very confident, and she definitely didn't. She definitely wasted time in that battle as far in terms of shutting it down. Anyways,
Let's say that there is a giant fight between Spirit Korra and Giant Robot, and there's all these things like you're saying. What happens after that? What happens after Korra defeats Kuvira? Is this when Korra's like, well, you know what? I am a pretty good avatar. Roll credits.
No, well, it's an interesting question because the more I think about it, like,
no, think about it more.
what was it? Okay, so yeah, obviously there's gonna be some physical action, but it brings me back to the end of the episode when Korra basically like, wait, we've been thinking about this all wrong. We're not gonna beat her in a physical battle, and I thought that was actually really brilliant. Like almost to a point of like, wow, that's really diabolical, Korra, of you to take Batar and like, you know, use his emotions against him. And I think that might kind of lend a little bit of a key to how the finale or showdown will be. That it might not be a physical showdown. It's gonna take more about who Korra is and what she's learned about herself in the world and blah 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 blah. Then it's gonna be about her knowing how to punch.
If it is just a fist fight, then it's just gonna be like every other finale that we've had. It's gonna be like a combination of the book 1 and book 2 finales combined, essentially, right? Because it's a giant war going on in Republic City, and there's a giant robot and a giant Spirit Korra. So it has to be. This whole season has been pushing towards fighting isn't the answer for Korra. You know, getting past her psychological dilemmas. So something is gonna have to happen where. I mean, I don't think she's just gonna like sit down in like a room with Kuvira, like, hey, let's chat. Like that's not gonna happen, right?
Well, it could be like the end of Dark Knight. She didn't wager the soul of Republic City on a fist fight.
Okay, Sean brought up using Batar's feelings against him. I felt like that was something that needs to be touched upon in this episode, is the relationship between Kuvira and Batar. Because obviously they have feelings for one another, but one seemingly has more feelings for the other than the other has for him.
Well, this kind of all goes to wait. We'll
Why
pretend that made sense.
Kuvira doesn't like Batar as much.
It was a joke.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, it just goes back towards Korra or Kuvira being the monster that we all knew she was, right? Like,
but
no one was
so you
surprised.
you didn't buy her love for Batar.
I think that she had affections towards him, but I don't think. But
in the end, she was using him.
Yeah, in the end, she was using him. One, for his abilities as a builder and tinker and whatever. And also because of his position in Zalfu, I imagine. Yeah. So, I mean, she knew it was benefiting her and her goals. And if maybe, he's a handsome guy, you know, whatever. Why not? But she was never...
So then why does she then choose to try to kill him? I mean, that.
Well, I don't think she's trying to kill him.
But she located where the signal was coming from.
Because she knew that's where like the Avatar was.
Yeah, the Avatar was there. All the
them.
people that would get in her way.
So she's just willing to sacrifice.
Yeah, that was the Gambit. That was the Gambit. Was Kuvira's willing to sacrifice her love, whatever small love that was, in the grand scheme of whatever her plan was, in order to take out the big threat. Because if you take out the Avatar, then everyone else is just gonna disperse. I mean, that's their leader. So that's why she did it.
So they talk Batar in that pretty emotional scene where he's talking to his mom and everything. She comments on the fact, like, I know you went out trying to do good, but he loves her, and that seems to be like his only really motivation for doing what he does. Because as soon as he realizes he can't be with her, he's like, I don't care about getting Republic City. I just want to be with her. Let's call it quits.
A couple episodes we talked about, that was the question, right? About are we going to get more story about Batar? And I was actually kind of surprised we were, like, he's becoming such a focal, important part of the finale. Like, everything rests
right,
on
so
him.
now that he knows he's been betrayed, he's going to side with Team Avatar and give them a secret to the robot.
Yeah.
The scene where they go in and they finally capture him, they just slam him against the side and then they bag him. Like, I felt like that was kind of like a role reversal. It was like, man, these good, seemingly good guys are doing this pretty dirty thing right now. Like, it's got me like a little off kilter because it's such an aggressive move to just like flat out bag him and everything, and then take him off. It's not something you normally see the good heroes do.
Do you remember in book 2 when Korra takes that judge and puts his head inside Naga's mouth? I mean, this was much more subdued. She literally took a guy's head and put it in Naga's mouth and said, you're going to listen to me or your face is going to get ripped off.
I try to pretend that book doesn't exist.
I mean, at least the first half, that's probably safe.
I've never read it.
It's not... Oh, no. Kuvira hates the fact that Republic City is on Earth Kingdom territory.
Right.
Republic City is essentially the United Nations of this universe. Right?
Sure.
Taking out the United Nations, is going to summon all the other nations and have them try to basically take you out, or they're going to all try to fight you. if you just left Republic City where it was, nobody, like the Fire Nation, water tribes, the air nomads, they wouldn't try to stop you. They even said, just go, you can have your empire, just leave Republic City there. So it's obvious that Kuvira is just so power hungry that she's lost her original idea of just, uniting everybody. Because she did unite. She has the empire that she wanted, but she just wants too much. It's like any sort of power hungry dictator. They want more than they actually need.
Well, okay, here's the interesting thing. The only thing she wants left to get is Republic City, right? Mm-hmm. Because they've conceded everything else.
Yeah.
And at the very end of this episode, they essentially surrender it. And even Batar says, look, we don't want to kill anyone, just surrender and it'll be over. He's right.
Yeah.
So if they all evacuate, or I don't know if she wants them to evacuate exactly because they're just citizens, what is her goal? Anyway, so let's say they all evacuate. Okay, so an empty city now. That's it? That's the end? I mean, really, is that that bad?
Well, but they said they made a point that Republic City homes millions of people. They said that. They said you'd force millions of people to lose their lives, to move out and have to, figure things out. Like, it would be horrible.
No, but let's say the government, like the president says, okay, I'm gone. The entire council, everyone moves out. So the people are still there. Who is she? And then, is she gonna attack the citizens?
Yes, she was imprisoning firebenders and waterbenders just for being firebenders and waterbenders, so she would do the same thing.
I mean, I think she just wants control. She wants Republic City to be just like another city-state of the Earth Empire.
Yeah.
So she doesn't want it not populated. She wants people to live there, but she doesn't want the president there. She doesn't want all the other nations there. She doesn't want other vendors there or other nation vendors there.
But are we to believe that there's no firebenders living in the Earth Kingdom or waterbenders?
Well, we believe it, but they kind of hinted it before, where it's like they're putting them in the tournament camp. She wants to purify. I mean, I think this all goes to the whole buildup of Kuvira, again, just being, in my mind, a little one-dimensional, right? Like, ideally, I still never get any greater motivation than her just being power hungry. And this episode actually embodies that perfectly, because what is the ultimate weapon? A giant her, right?
Yeah.
It's basically the most selfish, egotistical thing she could possibly do. I'm just going to be a giant myself and destroy it, right? Mm-hmm. It's become in no way, shape, or form about uniting or peace or anything. It's just me being powerful and huge, and everyone and that's exactly what we thought I was afraid she was going to be from the very beginning. I mean, it's a good villain. Obviously, that's a good villain. It provides a lot of conflict and stuff, but it lacked, I think, some of the nuances that we saw in Zahir. I feel and Amon even from the previous seasons. Yeah. So I don't know. The end.
I guess this is like her end goal. Like I was very unclear on that, and now that she's at that goal, it just feels like there's one little tick from her achieving everything, and it feels like, well, you kind of got it. Like, why not? Well, let's just not let her have it.
But do you think she would actually stop? Like, she's so power hungry at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
all the other nations are going to attack her. But if you look at the map of the planet as we know it, how big are the other nations in comparison to the Earthbenders?
Well,
what are they going to do?
You're right.
So she would be like the grand ruler of the world at that point, because what are three nations going to do against a nation that's bigger than
the Fire
Nation? Of them put together?
It's all about population. Size doesn't matter. Think about it. The Fire Nation waged war against every other nation.
And that's the thing. And that's what I'm getting at, is that, let's say she gets Earth Kingdom. Okay, cool. Kuvira, you got what you wanted. Let's back it off. Then if she makes an armed conflict against a sovereign nation, then the Fire Kingdom, which had been bowing out, is going to be like, nope, we're doing this. Water Kingdom also is in. Everyone's going to go nuts, right?
I suppose, but I think that, it's, I guess, just a scale, right? Because essentially what you're saying is the exact same thing they're presented with Republic City. No one really in the world recognizes Republic City as part of the Earth Kingdom, except Kuvira, because she's a purist, right? So it's the same argument, It's the same thing as if she did attack the Fire Nation, because she's attacking another sovereign. Republic City is essentially a sovereign state.
But we know the Fire Kingdom...
Fire
Nation, whatever, is not gonna has said that no, we're not gonna engage in conflict against if she attacks Republic City. But I
guess the best thing that I would have wanted from this episode is to know that this wasn't Republic City wasn't ultimately going to be Kuvira's end goal. She would be like, I am going to take Republic City, and once I do that, I am taking the rest of the world. I don't care anymore.
I don't get that impression from her.
But I want that. I want that because it makes her seem so much more menacing. If Republic City is just her end goal, I don't know. For me, it doesn't feel that great.
I guess it redefines her character, though.
I mean, you're right. It doesn't seem that great. I think it speaks to just kind of with the thematically, right? Because Republic City, what it represents, is more important than its practical purpose in the world. And I think that's what's the most important thing here. But you're right. She's on the cusp becoming basically Fire Lord Ozai.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which I think we can all agree is, well, that's bad. That's really bad. Obviously, that's really bad, but it's nothing new. It's nothing super interesting to us in terms of a villain, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's kind of that balance, right? They're kind of like, how do we make it not too Ozai, but still as threatening as that?
The thing is, even if it ends with a hand-to-hand combat and Kuvira just loses, that's nowhere near enough for me. Like that's nothing about that is going to be exciting to me.
I would really even like it if they just go crazy, where it becomes some super like
Platinum
Birdman
Games
thing
ending.
where she's in her own head. But the thing is that Kuvira is not a type of character that does that, right? Like Zahira made sense because he's all about spirit and like. But Kuvira, it's like there's nowhere you could go besides her physical thing. So for Korra to somehow have to confront her on another level is going to be weird because we've never seen Kuvira exist on another level.
It's almost the same as Unalaq, where it's like you didn't know, like Unalaq was just a bad guy. He fused with Vatu and became a crazy spirit monster. Like Kuvira's endgame has to be something similar to where it's just like must have more power. I will do something. I have a spirit energy. I'll shoot it. I'll eat it. I don't know. I'll eat it and I'll robot spirit monster. It has to be something that crazy. That's the only thing that would make any sense for a character.
Maybe, and as it all happens,
do you understand? No, I mean, okay, it wouldn't make
the only equivalent that she could do is if she like integrated her brain into the robot and she transferred her consciousness into the robot.
She's like the Zero system of that robot.
Yeah.
Anybody that watches Gundam gets that.
One reason why Kuvira might want to take out the Avatar. No, this actually might make sense. This might make sense. The next Avatar after Korra's dead is going to be an Earthbender. If she takes out Korra now, the Avatar will be brought up into the Earth Empire.
Yeah,
that is actually a good. That's
a really cool idea.
That's actually really cool.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
brainwash and she could brainwash him because they'd be a baby when Kuvira's ruling.
It's a really cool idea, but I still don't think it adds any. It adds to Kuvira's motivation and a little bit more depth to her plan, but not to her character. And I don't think it'll add anything to the final showdown. Yeah. Right? It's not going to make it like, oh, now I'm going to fight you somehow differently. Like, it's not going to change how they're going to confront each other, I don't think. No. But it is a really cool idea.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
We're approaching the finale. We're approaching the end of all of Korra. What's gonna happen?
I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that one.
That was a tidbit. That was the world exclusive Gambit right there.
Drop
You saw it.
Cut.